Hello and welcome to this totally excellent episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast about movies. Each episode is about a specific movie, and we'll get to this totally tubular episode's movie in a little bit. But first, I need to invite you, the listener, to partake in the fan vote by submitting the movies for the fan vote. We just had our last fan vote, and we'll reveal the winner at the end of this episode. But if you want to submit a movie for a future vote, go ahead and jump over to the YouTube channel and comment on the latest episode of Film Freakz with a Z on the YemmytheFerret channel. Or come to the Discord, the Ferret Nation Discord, and talk to us in the movie stuff section, or send us an email, which Callus still hasn't sent me an email yet, at ff.filmfreaks at the end at gmail.com, which is totally bogus, dude. So let's go ahead and get started with this episode by introducing ourselves. I am the excellent Ferret, and I'm here with
GreedyWaffles.
Taymation Esquire.
RaeofPositivity.
I hope we're all doing really good, really sick.
Really good, bro.
Feeling pretty righteous right now, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I'm doing pretty excellent myself.
Let's go on an adventure, guys.
I would love to go on an adventure.
Well, let's get started with that adventure by having Ray totally give us a gnarly intro for this movie.
Oh my god, this has to be my favorite so far. So we watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from 1989. Two rock and rolling teens on the verge of failing their class set out on a quest to make the ultimate school history report after being presented with a time machine. Directed by Stephen Herek. Writers Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, stars Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, George Carlin, and here we are with what my boyfriend called a really excellent, terrible movie. So,
I don't know if I would. Well,
Yeah.
I
Totally not cool, dude.
totally not cool. Like, it's definitely an excellent movie. And it's cheesy, I'll give you that, but I don't know if I would say it's a terrible, excellent movie. I've seen some really bad, excellent movies, and
well, this past set of episodes, we've watched some movies that are kind of like bad, good movies, right? And I don't think this one falls into that category because it's just good.
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's hokey, but that's the point.
That's totally the point. I freaking love this movie so much.
It's a great movie.
The one thing that I forgot about was Bill's stepmom.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pervert dad. I forgot about that part too.
Oh my god.
yeah. Everything was a first time for me, and I think Greedy also was the first time watching this, right?
Yep.
So fresh on this one. I've heard a lot about it, and I knew that there's 3 movies in the filmography now. And I've seen snippets of things. Like I watched the second movie as well, just because I was having a good time with this one, and I actually remember like pretty clearly the Grim Reaper in that movie and like him playing Twister. This one I seem to remember vaguely Napoleon Bonaparte going through the water slides. That was the one thing that was like, oh, I saw this before. Like, why have I seen this before? You know?
Yeah.
Napoleon is probably my favorite.
One's great. Yeah, there were like it's been a while since I've seen the first and second movie. I want to see the third one now, especially after watching this.
I was going to, but it's only available to buy on like Amazon and stuff.
Lame.
I was ready for it. I'm like marathon, and then I went to go look, and I'm like, I don't want to buy it. I just want to rent it. Like,
yeah, that's
Bogus,
lame.
man.
But yeah, there was parts in this movie where I was like, wait, does that happen in the second movie or in this movie? Like the end when they're like, oh yeah, we got to remember to do this in the future, so it happens now. Right before that happened, I was questioning. I was like, was that in the second one? And then when it happened, I was like, okay, no.
No, they did a bit though like that in the second movie as well. So
okay.
Yeah, at the end of the second movie, they defeat the evil robots, and the main scientist guy comes in, and they're like, dude, you can't be the one who wins because we are, whoever wins has the most setups or whatever. And yeah, so they kind of do the same thing. We're like, but we put a cage above you, and then we did this. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing happens at the end of the second movie.
Okay, which is probably why.
It's less effective, I will be honest. Like the second movie was definitely
No, the second one's definitely the worst of the two.
Yeah,
like it's still fun.
Yeah, I still gave it like a pretty average score, but like there was times I just felt like that the second movie dragged so much, and this one, the first one, it was like a speedy, like super fun adventure. Like when it was over, I was like, I could watch that again. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, like saying like looking at the actors, like seeing Keanu, or can't even say his name.
Keanu.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. If you said like, oh yeah, he's into this, or he's in this movie, and you gave me the synopsis of the movie, I'd been like, no way he's in this movie, just because I know him like from like John Wick and like as a serious actor.
Mm-hmm.
In this, like, I know it's young in his career, very young. I would have been like, no way he's not in this. No way. It's just weird to see him how like he's not what I would expect like him to be in this movie.
Yeah.
See, and for me, it's you tell me he's in John Wick, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Because he's Bill from Bill and Ted. He's not a serious like gun-toting actor. I mean, obviously he has been since Matrix, but
no, he's been a serious gun-toting actor since Johnny Mnemonic.
Speed.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, yeah, because after that, I mean, he did Speed. And then, yeah, The Matrix, and then a few, like, romance movies here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
You know what, Kay, you're right. Speed was first. I apologize.
No, Johnny Mnemonic was definitely first.
I'm looking at right here. Johnny Mnemonic, 1995. Speed, 1994.
Really? Wow.
A year
Okay.
early.
I thought Johnny Mnemonic was, like around the time of Bill and Ted, like...
I mean, based on,
80s.
like, the special effects, yeah, but no, it's actually, like, 5 or 6 years after.
Yeah, wow. I don't even know if I've ever seen Johnny Mnemonic. Like, I know of it a little bit, but I've never actually seen the movie.
It's got the
Maybe we'll have
worst title in the world, because who can say that fucking name? Say it 3 times fast. Like,
Well, then, I know. Then there's that movie. It's another gun-toting one where he plays like Johnny Utah. Point Blank. Is it Point Blank?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Well,
we should have a
sounds about
Keanu
right.
Reeves marathon
we
for the
could.
next like 10 episodes. We'll just watch nothing but Keanu Reeves movies until we've seen them all.
Well, I think we'll get pretty burnt out by the time we watch. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like a lot of his movies are
Super
very
Pets.
unique.
You know, like,
Is he in Super Pets?
yeah. No, nowadays he's obviously a big. I mean, he was in the Cyberpunk game, Cyberpunk 2077. He's had smaller roles in other movies, like in Toy Story 4. He was the stuntman or whatever. And in the newest SpongeBob movie, which was awful, he was the tumbleweed, and in that Keanu movie, he was like a cat or something like that. Like,
there was the one movie where I haven't seen. It was on Netflix where like he just shows up as like the girl's date or something.
He's doing a lot of those smaller roles. Like there was a Keanu Reeves renaissance back when, like, you know, let's say between Speed and like Matrix 2. You know, like there was a Keanu renaissance. Then he kind of went away. And then he came back for John Wick, and there's been another renaissance. But now it's like, all right, we're getting to that point where he's in like bad movies again, or starting it back in the bad movies. So it's
He's
like
so handsome.
And then also it didn't help that Cyberpunk 2077 was so bad at launch, like, and he was like the big poster boy. So I think we're back in that era where it's like he's kind of I mean, I think Chapter 4 of John Wick was well received, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's also like just known for being like the nicest guy on the planet. So like that helps. You know, like there's pictures of him just on the like he takes the subway one, and then like off, gives a seat to people like, oh, you need to sit down. And you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
Keanu, you're
he's
such
the
a good
best.
guy.
Well, I mean, it's nothing personal. I'm just saying he's picking like the worst movies right now. Matrix Resurrections, please.
I think, like I said, he's just doing, he's taking the Nicolas Cage approach where he's just like, you show up at my house or my agent says, we got a script for you. Okay, I'll do it.
Taking his
I heard he
fame.
donates a lot of the money like that he makes to charities anyway.
Yeah.
He probably made his fortune. He's probably just doing it for fun now, I would guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would come back, however many years later to do a sequel to Bill and Ted, like I don't know too many actors who would want to like come back to a role as old as that,
Yeah.
Could he revert back to being that goofy? I don't know. I feel like he's so serious now.
I've only seen trailers of the Face the Music movie, and
Yeah.
it's older Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter trying to be, with the, that's bogus, man. Like they're trying to do it again, but
I have seen it.
Oh, you have? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
The tea is about to be spilled, folks.
So it's mainly about their daughters, not them. And like there's like snippets of them, but it's not about them like at all. It's mainly about their daughters, and their daughters act exactly like them. And like it's not bad, but it's just kind of like, okay, like it's this again. Like it wasn't,
They pulled the Jurassic World where they kept showing Jeff Goldblum in the trailer like he's in the movie, and it's like he's in the first minute and a half of the movie.
Basically, like they're in the first like couple minutes of the beginning and then the end, and
It's kind of like Rufus in this movie. He's in there for the beginning and the end.
yeah.
Yeah. Is Rufus even in the second one?
Yeah, he has a very, very small part. He's once again in the opening and then at the end.
Gotcha. George Carlin's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll do your silly, stupid movie.
Well, let's get back to the first movie here. What did y'all think of the future that's based around Bill and Ted's music, Wild Stallions?
Hilarious.
Yeah. Hey, the way he described it there at the beginning, Mr. Carlin, with like bowling averages up, putting down, or putting scores down, golf scores, whatever. That sounds pretty good.
That's what I'm looking forward to, honestly.
Yeah. Sounds much better than, the current hellscape we live in right now.
Exactly.
I just like the deadpan delivery of all like the lines, like the big catchphrase that they actually give them during the
Party on, dudes.
Yeah, party on. Be excellent to each other and party on. They're just like, be excellent to each other and party. Like they're very serious about it. It's very funny.
I like their little air guitar moments that they do. Favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ties into just the overall music. Like, not only are there like the little guitar licks that they do fun, but like the actual soundtrack for the movie is like a banger. Like every song is so good.
Yeah. What did you guys think about like the history, like Napoleon and Joan of Arc and Billy the Kid and Socrates?
Yeah.
Overall it was great. There was a few little things that like I wish they had fact checked, because they're just like, oh, this is just common, everyone knows this, but it's like, no, everyone knows it wrong. Like Napoleon wasn't short.
He wasn't really that short in the movie.
He was pretty short in the movie. Like
standing
in the
next
beginning.
standing next to everybody, he was very short. But just like the fact that they say he's short, it's like, I mean, for his time, I mean, he was like, I think 5'9", which for back then was at that time was pretty tall. But it's because the French used a different measurement system from England, and so in France he was like, oh, they're like, he's like 5'2", because like, no, but converted it's 5'9" kind of thing, and that's how they, it was propaganda to call him short, and we still fall for it today.
I think it's more common knowledge, because I know that he was tall. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's becoming more common. In the 80s, it wasn't.
Maybe with that new Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix, we'll really solve that debate. Yeah, the most fun that I had in the movie was when they were grabbing all the different, people from Time, and some of them were like really short little, like, oh, we got Joan of Arc or whatever, and some of them were like, I like the ones that were a little bit longer, like how I think it was Ted like quotes that Kansas song. He's like, "We're just dust in the wind," and and Socrates is like, "Yes, of course,
of course, you're right." I mean, that's how you would get a philosopher to join you. Just be like, "Look, I know philosophy too. Oh, let's go talk for hours."
And
all right.
I mean, might I just say that they did not have to go so hard on the sets and like the practical stuff. Like the Western town looks super authentic, and it's so fun to see them just kind of walking into the bar, and like it's like a very gritty and it's filthy bar. They're just like there. They're like shining in the scene and stuff like that. And kind of the same thing happens in the medieval times. Like they actually rented out a fucking castle, and like they had all these people.
Right.
It's so much. It was so much fun, and obviously this like the budget must have been pretty big because they had the whole horse chase scene and even later on, like there's just
10 million.
There's just so much like fun sets and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun.
Back talking about the medieval scene, I think the dumbest part of that whole thing was how I fell out of my armor when it fell down. It's like armor doesn't work that way, but okay.
Right.
Whatever. Again, that's just the cheesy fun. Just like we're not taking ourselves seriously. This is supposed to be a fun romp and historical.
Yeah, I think they just like didn't know what the how to get out of it. They were like, you know what, let's just do something stupid. Like he just fell out and he went somewhere.
It's silly. But that moment did take me out a little bit where you're just like, wait, what? I'm sorry, what? But it was so fun. And I like how they get Genghis Khan with a Twinkie.
Yeah.
It's like, you want this? It's like, what is that? I want it.
Yeah, I mean, and all the actors who were portraying like the historical figures also like did 110% too. Like the Genghis Khan guy when he's in the mall and just thrashing everything, like it's so much fun. And
I like one. No, go ahead.
And Honest Abe like being like, he's like, this is my hat.
The one thing that surprised me is that Winona Ryder did not play Joan of Arc.
It looks like her. Know who she is, though? Oh
my god! Like she looks exactly like her.
Right. So she was in Clue. For those who watched Clue back in the day.
That's a throwback.
She's the singing telegram.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, that can't be. I couldn't remember her name. I was like, that can't be Winona Ryder. Is it? I don't know. I gotta look this up. Then just looking through, I was like, oh, okay, she's the singing telegram girl. That's where I know her from. But she does look a lot like Winona Ryder too.
The more you know.
Yeah. She's been in a bunch of little things, but nothing big besides, like I said, this and Clue. I think were her biggest roles. But I do like the little things they did in this throughout the movie. Once they had all the historical figures, especially of just like little nods to like at one point Sigmund Freud shows up with a corn dog and it's just like that's a penis. He's just holding a penis. That is what Sigmund Freud would be doing.
Yep. I love those little jokes that they put in there about him.
Yeah. And like I think there was one when Joan of Arc's in the prison, you see her praying, and then when Bill and Ted showed up, she's like, "Oh yes, thank you."
Yep.
It's also a movie where like the time travel is pretty believable. Like I know they don't show everything, but there's a lot of movies where it's like, oh, they went back in time and they're trying to do like a rule set for it. And this one seems to work pretty well. I didn't really have any problems with like how they explained it and how it all happened.
Yeah.
I think one of the there's a couple movies that have like big missteps in like the continuity of their time travel mechanics. I'm glad to say this one is not one of the ones that annoyed me. I thought it was actually well done.
Yeah, it was like straight and to the point. Like
the only thing at the very beginning, I was just like, so wait, how do you know that you have to go back to set them up, or like second they get separated, wouldn't your timeline just disappear? How do you guys know you have to fix it before it's broken?
Because history.
Yeah.
Science.
Well, that's the thing. It's probably like, hey, it's in the text from these guys that we went back at some point to fix things, and it's time now. So let's go on back to fix things.
Crazy.
Everything was. It wasn't like it was all just set in stone. It's like, you know, like the whole thing is like, oh yeah, let's just put a tape recorder there. Done.
The trash can falling, like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that they didn't explain any of that stuff too. Like, I don't need to see them setting that stuff up like after or whatever. I felt like
Right.
the comedic timing was just perfect. Even in like the second movie when they rehashed that kind of joke, it still works really well. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I love the.
I did.
PS
I
duck.
wish. I was saying. I wish that they just had said like, you know, just like, okay, we gotta go do those things now or something, just to make you go, wait, did they forget again? Did they forget and this stuff didn't happen and now the timeline's broken? You just need a little closure. Just say you did it.
Yeah, one of the biggest payoffs of the movies is that Ted actually stole his dad's keys, and his dad was looking for his keys for the first 2 days of the movie. There's a few little payoffs like that I enjoyed. That I liked.
Yeah, I did too. Greedy, do you have anything to say?
No, I mean,
He's done. He's ready to go home.
no.
Yeah, going back to like the practical effects and the I think this movie does a great job of not overusing like a green screen or like I don't think there's really any CG elements other than like the lightning going on the machine and stuff like that.
Well, and then the traveling through the cables.
Right. Yeah. I think this movie does a good job of not going over with that kind of stuff because it could really age the movie. Like, sure, this is still like a time capsule for the time period in terms of like film and stuff like that. But the second movie has what I like to call the bad green screen effect, which is just like an overabundance and overuse of just like green screen or blue screen, and it's very noticeable. Whereas this one, I thought that they worked with what they could and they did a great job with it, and I had no problems with any of like the special effects, like even like the you know what Tay said with them going through the threads of time. I didn't really care. It looked, I mean, for the most part, it looked fine. Like, it's not like super crazy, but you know, when they're all in like the phone booth riding it like a canoe or whatever, I just thought that it was just so much fun. I'm not even paying attention to like the 1980s computer graphics in the background, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that makes it even better. Like, if there's one point like where they were focused on Bill and Ted's face, like while they were traveling through time, and it looks like okay, like green screen, but also this movie is so cheesy and there's so much satire. It feels like it was almost cheesy on purpose, like the green screen. So I don't know. I just feel like even today it still holds up. It still fits. I still love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Ray. They definitely want to hit that goofiness, and I think they're, probably back in the day, watching it probably in the early 2000s, if people were probably like, oh, this is, goofy, this is how we were, and now it's just funny to see, like, oh, this is still holds up, this is good.
So who was your guys' favorite historic figure? What I want to know.
I mean, I've always liked Billy the Kid.
He was funny.
Yeah.
Napoleon was fun.
Napoleon was good too.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
He probably
I think
has.
Billy the Kid.
He probably has one of the
For
most
me.
minor parts in the movie, but I mean, Genghis Khan was fun.
Oh yeah. Genghis
Yeah.
Khan was good. I mean, I like them all. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
they all did a great job. But...
Yeah, they did.
The-
I
But
just
I
think
li-
that Napoleon had the best time. Like,
Yeah.
I like
he
how
had a
Billy,
huge Sunday.
like one of my favorite lines they're traveling through time with they just picked up Socrates and they're like, "Wow, Billy, you're taking this like strange time travel thing like really well." And he's just like, "Yeah, what else?"
His bromance with Socrates
Yeah.
was great.
Yes.
Yeah, they did a lot of good stuff with the historical figures, but I felt like Beethoven got like nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like he had that section in the mall when he's like playing the pianos, but
Mhm.
I was really hoping that the like music happening would kind of be like a Beethoven but playing on a synthesizer type thing.
Yeah.
But it was just like a regular song, and it just didn't really fit the scene in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
he's playing like
Yeah.
all the keyboards, and like he just randomly gets kicked out for no reason.
Yeah, that was the
God,
bug.
all of
me.
us-
so bad.
All of a sudden, the guy is like, "I have a change of heart. This guy sucks."
Yeah, it's like, how
It's so
dare
bizarre.
You play, how dare you play music in a music store?
And he's okay with it for like 90% of the scene, and then all of a sudden he's like, "You know what? Fuck you." Yeah, I feel like they could have utilized him a little bit better there, and like given him
Yeah.
like an actual song to play, or have someone write something for him to play, just so it's not just like a regular song with no piano in it playing while he's doing all this goofy stuff on the keyboards. That's obviously fake.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if he had like just been left at the mall, like he was the only one left, and so when they get there, they find him, and he's just like, he's the reason they know that everyone's been taken away.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice. Giving him something to do at least.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
wasn't
he even has a
causing
big part
trouble.
during the big presentation either. I think he just kind of is standing in the background.
Yeah.
And they're
He
like-
and yeah, they just say he likes the classical music, but he also likes Led Zeppelin. Yeah, he didn't do much. He was probably my least favorite.
Oh,
Yeah, they
I
could have done so much more.
just remembered one of my favorite lines for the movie is the king in the medieval times. He's like, "Put them in the Iron Maiden," and they're like, "Iron Maiden."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's execute them. It's like, I'm pretty sure the Iron Maiden would execute them.
But he wanted to see them be executed after
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
so happy about the Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's fair.
One of my favorite lines from the second movie also is like a reference to metal music. They're like, "Wow, hell is like not. We were lied to about hell. It does not look like those album covers." Just such a great little throwaway line, you know.
Yeah. Maybe I'll probably have to go watch the second one again.
Do you guys get like the Monty Python like vibes from this movie at all?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
100%,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one. I was like, the whole time I was watching this, I was like, I get Monty Python like vibes.
Yeah,
Huge
you could
vibes.
definitely. I feel like it might have been maybe a little bit inspired by like the zaniness and kind of
Yeah.
because Monty Python also has like those like really historically accurate things and like a lot of practical stuff that, well, not historically accurate, quote unquote, like it has a lot of like period piece type stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie
Yeah.
does that too, and it kind of has the same vibe where it's like kind of throw two guys in there who don't seem like they're supposed to be in that time period. Like in the Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail, it's like King Arthur and his little lackey guy. They just kind of seem like they're not supposed to be there, but they're there in that time period, you know. Maybe if
Yeah.
they had used like some medieval like animations like they do for Monty Python, then like it's a direct comparison, you know. That's all it was missing was like, the medieval portrait of God like saying like, "Bill, Ted, this is what I need, this is what I expect of you," so yeah,
I just looked up the director to see if he had like any connection with Monty Python, and he's just got the craziest like all over the place type movies. You may not be familiar with, but Critters, which is just a really bad like Gremlins knockoff. It's really bad. Maybe I'll suggest it just to torture
boy.
you guys. That he did Bill and Ted's, Mr. Holland's Opus, and The Three Musketeers, like the Disney version in 1993, where it's just like that. Those are all over the place. And then like tone and everything. Like he did some of the MacGyver episodes as well.
101 Dalmatians. The 1996 version is on here.
Jeez.
Hey.
Yeah, he's just done weird random stuff.
Good for him.
Sometimes you don't need a niche. Sometimes just do whatever.
No, yeah, just do whatever
is
the hell you
neat.
want. Crazy. Just the tone shift between Mr. Holland's Opus and Bill and Ted's is like the craziest. Anyway, sorry, tangent. We're known for him. It's fine.
It's true.
What'd you guys think of Ted's father? Because he was like the only parental figure who actually did anything in the entire movie.
Ugh,
And
douchebag.
yeah, he's pretty bad in this movie. He's even worse in the second one because by that time, like Ted and Bill already like showed like, hey, we can when we put when we get when we want to do something, we do it, right? And the second movie, it's still the same plot point where it's like you could go to military school in Alaska, which also brings the second movie down a little bit because it's just like it's a redone plot point. But in this movie,
Yeah.
I feel like he's being kind of really unfair when with Ted throughout most of it, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah,
I think
no,
he's too harsh.
Yeah. I mean, he's classic cop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like why is he grounding his son and not allowing him to go and do like schoolwork with Bill?
Yeah.
Like it like boggled my mind.
Well, he wants him to fail so he can get rid of him.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Are the two girls at the end of the movie, I guess, who are in the band, are they in the second one?
Yeah, but they have about the same screen presence about them.
Okay,
as the first one. Yeah, they're in the band, but no one know. Like the whole plot is like they don't know how to play their instruments yet, but they're gonna do this battle of the bands. And then they go on. Then these evil robots from the future are sent back in time, and they kill Bill and Ted. So then Bill and Ted have to go through hell, and they have to beat the Grim Reaper, and then they go to heaven, and then they get reanimated, and then these two Martians build good versions of the robots to defeat the bad robots. And then they go to the Battle of the Bands, and they're like, we still don't know how to play our instruments. So them from the future who already did all the work come back, and they play the best show ever, which gets broadcasted to millions of people around the world because the evil guy from the future comes back, and he's like, I'm going to kill you myself. But then he gets captured and jailed by Ted's dad. And then the movie ends with them still being like, we still don't know how to play our instruments, but at least we know we're going to be good in the future. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
And there's a lot of boring stuff in between, by the way. The second movie fails where this one really excels,
No,
which is just pacing and stuff.
Yeah. I do remember the second one was not as good as the first one.
Like it's still fine, but it's just like I was actually feeling dragged when I was watching the second movie, especially after the blitzing speed that the Excellent Adventure is. It's just it's kind of like Whiplash. You get done watching the first movie and you're like, whoa, that was really fun and fast, and then you go to the second movie and you're like, damn, I'm not even halfway through this thing yet. Yeah. They're still dead. Like what the hell is going on? Literally, because they're in hell. It's still worth a watch, though. I mean, I'm selling it short.
Really?
Right now.
You really? I was about to say.
It's still got like really fun moments to it, and I think the overall plot is not like great, but it's still pretty fun by the end of it. So, I know I'm giving it a rousing review, but it actually is worth at least a watch, though. Just a little. It just drags a little bit. And also, the Martians are disgusting. I hate their design so much.
This movie's the absolute worst, but you should still go watch it.
It's still all right, though. So, yeah.
It's fine, but I just have problems with it.
I'm just messing with you.
And the Grim Reaper is a vibe, so, you know.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's
redeeming factor.
That's the redeeming factor. The Grim
Is death.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper is, like, really good in the movie.
Yeah, no, I remember the Grim Reaper. Looks like he's in the third one, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think the third one they like get the band together or something like that again, and the Grim Reaper was a part of the band by the end of the second movie. So.
Oh, okay.
Even though he went off for a solo tour, but then he got caught in a lip syncing scandal, so he went back to the band.
That's great.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
It's been forever since I've seen the second movie. I don't remember any of that.
Well, that was like the end, like credits. They're like flat, like they're showing like the future of Bill and Ted, and
Oh, okay. It was written in text.
Yeah, there was one where it's like Grim Reaper leaves band to do solo career. And then like a few newspaper clippings later, it's like Grim Reaper caught in lip syncing scandal. And then a few clippings later, it's like Grim Reaper rejoins Bill and Ted for reunion tour or whatever, you know. So
Nice.
now you don't even need to watch the movie. I told you the entire thing.
I'm still gotta watch it. I gotta watch it for the boring stuff in between you left out.
Oh, there's also like this really disturbing scene with like a grandmother in hell.
Oh Lord.
You'll know when you see it. It was it was terrifying in all the right ways, I guess, because it was terrifying. Yeah. There's also like these really like there's a bunch of like creepy animatronics too that they use. Like I don't know where these things ended up, but they're probably haunted.
I feel like this tangent is.
But that's the thing. Like the first movie has none of this. The first movie is like they just did such a good job. They didn't need the animatronics. They didn't need like the stupid green screen effects and stuff like that. That date the second movie. This movie does a great job because it doesn't have all that. Like the practical effects work. The CGI works. The tone and everything else works in this movie. It's a roundabout way of saying, watch the first movie and maybe watch the second one.
Yeah. Watch the second one knowing that it's not as good as the first, and it dates itself.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Maybe give yourself a little break between the first movie.
Yeah,
and the second
movie. You're gonna get whiplash for sure going into the second movie with the same expectations for the first one. But it's still worth a watch. You know, I just gotta say that it's still worth a watch. Because there's some fun parts in it. You know, it has some stuff that's memorable. And it's like, yeah, you gotta watch that.
Fair enough.
Man, I can't wait till I suggest Critters and just to put Yemmy through hell. But also, I just want to hear his opinion on it now.
You know, I've put myself
really
through,
bad.
I put myself through plenty of bad movies. I can take a Critters. You know.
You know, a lot of bad movies I watch have the MST3K treatment. You know, where it's people heckling it as they're watching it. Critters is one of the few ones that like. The heckling is really good, but I still can't watch it because the movie itself is so bad. But I'll do it. I'll put myself through that hell to put you guys through that hell.
Hey, look, I you know,
thank you.
I put myself through all those terrible Fast and Furious movies.
Oh yeah.
I watched freaking the latest Indiana Jones movie, and you know
You've done your time.
I've done what I mean. I have plenty more movies that I could list off here that I watched that like is like a 1-star. You know, it's sometimes you just gotta watch a bad movie. Like I watched all the Final Destination movies a while ago. Not all of them are 1-stars, but there's one in particular that was from 2009, a reboot or whatever. That was just so bad. It was one of those watches that hurt. You know, it was just so bad.
Yeah. Well, prepare yourself. I've definitely got some of those under my belt to throw out at some point. Well, you watch it and you'll just be like, oh, that hurt. I have a migraine. Also, I think I lost like 3 years of my life.
Hey, you know what? I'll hit right back with like something just as equally as bad.
It turns out Film Freakz just turns into a back and forth of, here's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Here's a worse movie.
You made us watch this bad movie? Well, just wait. I have one even worse. And eventually...
failures.
Eventually we'll all just be like... Our brains will be rotten and we just won't know what a good movie is anymore. It's like, oh yeah? I'm going to have you watch Beowulf from 2007. Take that.
Oh.
Watch Brightburn again.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you guys already made me watch Brightburn. I don't know if you can make me watch anything that will hurt me as bad as that. Excuse me.
We're getting Tay so worked up. Hiccups.
Yeah.
He's steaming out of his mouth.
Well, when you plan on doing Critters, just let us know, and maybe we'll just do a whole 4 episodes of just terrible, painful movies. I don't know if we can make it through that though. I think we'll lose some people. It'll be a new season every week. You know. I hated this movie so much. I'm out, and then you just leave during the episode.
Can't do it again, guys. I'm sorry. I'm done.
But on the opposite side of that, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Great job. Good
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Excellent.
and
Excellent.
adventure.
Excellent pick for sure.
Thank you.
It was an excellent adventure.
Are we ready at this point for all our ratings and whatnot?
I think so.
It sounds like it. I mean, unless
Seeing as we
anyone
haven't
has
actually
anything-
talked about the movie in the past 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I say, the past 30 minutes has not been about the movie at all. Or the wrong movie.
Yeah, I just want to say that the ending is a great payoff. Like the entire production that they put on for the teacher. I thought that was a great finale.
No, I thought they
guess.
did a great job. Said it, yeah. And,
And
it
then-
showed that they had ingenuity throughout the whole movie, and that they actually did learn some history through their adventure.
Yeah, somehow they learned
Right.
history.
Yeah. They along the way somehow eventually learned how to pronounce Socrates.
Right. I thought about that too.
No,
So great.
Yeah, he's Socrates from here on out. So.
Oh yeah. Socrates.
All right, Ray, go ahead and start us off with our final thoughts and rating out of 5.
Okay. Final thoughts. Freaking this movie, it's so lighthearted. It makes you in such a good mood. It made me in a great mood after a pretty sucky work week. It's great, like nostalgia too. Just reliving the late 80s/90s. Yeah, had a great time. Napoleon, still my guy. Freaking hilarious. I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. Yeah, I went into it with the idea that it was a classic, and it lived up to that. It kind of like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles last time. Like, this is definitely like a really good comedy movie that I feel like can be enjoyed by people. It's kind of timeless in that way because it is like almost like a period piece, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it was fun. It had a pretty breakneck speed to it, which is nice because things don't sit for too long. Like the jokes kind of come and go, which can be a bad thing. But for this movie, it was actually good because the jokes are kind of set up that way where it's like a quick like, oh, dude, that's bogus. And it's like one of the it's just something that's really funny. I thought the sets and the practical stuff and the places they filmed at, it's like they went above and beyond, like 110%, like crazy good stuff happening there. Like the CG, not bad. It fits the tone of the movie. And then I thought that the whole payoff at the end was good, and I like the ending. So all in all, besides from maybe underusing beef oven, I give it a 4.5 as well.
Yeah, I agree. Everything was a fun, not like a dumb fun, but it was kind of like of a dumb fun movie. It was quick, very action packed. Like not like fighting action, but just something always going on throughout the movie. A lot of good actors in it. Acting was good. Music was excellent. The sets and practicals, all that was fun. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. I really enjoy this movie. It's fun. It's a little dumb, but like on purpose dumb, and it's fun dumb, but not really dumb. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like it's definitely not a bad movie, in any sense of the word. It's fun, and I really enjoyed watching it again after so long. Yeah, I'll also be giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
Hooray!
Nice.
All right.
I did it good.
Not so split this
You
time
did a
around.
good. Yeah.
Okay, well, as the fans and you all know, we had the fan vote that happened during Tay's episode. Just a reminder, if you want to vote on the future fan votes for the podcast, you need to join the Discord. Link in the description. And that is where the The fan votes are taking place from now on. If you do join the Discord to join in for the votes, please say something because we've been having a bot problem and we've been kicking people who just join the server and don't say anything for a couple hours because we've had trouble with that. So if you do join for the podcast, like the voting, just be like, "Hey, I'm here for the voting. That's all I want," and we will leave you alone. Okay. But we had 4 good movies up for the fan vote this time, but only one can win, and that winner was Kung Fu Panda from 2008, which was directed by both Mark Osborne and John Stevenson. A little synopsis here is: when the Valley of Peace is threatened, Lazy Po the panda discovers his destiny as the Chosen One and trains to become a Kung Fu hero. But transforming the unsleek slacker into a brave warrior won't be easy. It's up to Master Shifu and the Furious Five, Tigress, Crane, Mantis, Viper, and Monkey to give it a try. This stars Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Dustin Hoffman, Ian McShane, Jackie Chan, Lucy Liu, Seth Rogen, David Cross, James Hong, and so many more. And Demonic Lucy, a.k.a. Coco, will be joining us for the next episode.
Woo!
Awesome.
So this is available on Amazon and Apple TV and like the usual like suspects like YouTube and stuff like that. So I believe it's also on Peacock with ads, but I'll probably just be watching it on Amazon, really.
All right. Sounds good.
And yeah, this is a series that I never got into. I think I was a bit aged out of the demographic by this time, 2008.
Yeah.
So
The
never.
first time I watched this movie was last year, so.
Oh wow! All right, another fresh watch.
Yeah. So
Been
I
a while
saw
for me,
this. Yeah, I saw this probably in like 2009, 10. Like it wasn't in theaters, but it was a while ago.
So I'm just hoping I have a better experience than How to Train Your Dragon. I was not a fan of that one.
Oh,
I know.
oh, my heart.
I know.
Didn't the new Kung Fu just come out?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and it's supposedly not very good.
Yeah, I think it's bombing right now.
Yeah.
So it's one of those series that.
They won't
It
let
did
it
a
die.
Shrek. It did a
But
Shrek
we'll talk
4.
about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, there's a few animated movies right now that, or like animated series that are just kind of like being milked for all they have. And
Yeah.
I think Kung Fu Panda is one of those where it's like that. I hear that the trilogy ended pretty well, but now they're like milking it. Same thing with Shrek. Like the trilogy's fine, and they started milking that. Toy Story trilogy's fine, then they were like, but there's a 4th and a 5th. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yes, that's what I've heard as well. It's just like the first 3, like was just a perfect like arc and story and everything made sense, came to a good ending, and then there's like, but now here's a 4th one. You're like, why?
Guess
But wait,
what?
there's more and more and more and more.
And that's how like, Cars. After the first one, everyone's like, yeah, that was actually better than I was expecting. They're like, well, how about another one? Well, let's not push it. And a 3rd. Okay, come on now.
Yeah, Cars 2 is another like 1-star movie.
Yeah.
That's true.
The 3rd one was fine, but like the series was ruined after that 2nd movie. It shouldn't have been a series anyway, because like I liked Cars when I was a kid. Obviously, I was the demographic for that, but like I didn't want another Cars movie. Like who wants?
Right. Nobody
like,
asked for that.
like thinking about it as an adult, like the universe makes no sense either. Like how does anything work in this universe at all? Like they just don't want to explain it because it's like, oh, we had the idea for cars that had feelings, and that's pretty much it.
I love the meme where it's like Pixar's like, what if toys had feelings? What if cars had feelings? What if feelings had feelings? And that's how you
What if
Inside
robots
Out.
had feelings? Yeah.
Yeah. It's always just, what if this thing had feelings? What if old people had feelings?
Whoa, that's crazy.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, Pixar's kind of going that way right now, where it's like, yeah, we're just getting sequels now at this point. I mean, I'm expecting a Good Dinosaur 2 at some point. Real honestly, like.
Nah, that one didn't do well enough that it won't get one. It's just like I would like a Bug's Life 2. Give me that.
Yeah,
Ants.
that'll be good.
Well, Ants was
Ew.
DreamWorks.
I'm just saying, ants.
You know what? I actually liked Ants. Growing
You know
up.
what? That's
We
very
need a-
brave of you to say publicly.
Yes. That's what growing up. This was, I didn't know about not Woody Harrelson.
We need
You
a
know,
Big
the
Hero
guy.
6, another one.
I like Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be another Big Hero 6.
Yeah, but that's Disney animation, not Pixar.
I think the story behind the reason Ants was made is more interesting than the movie itself, because that was like, oh, we heard that, or the people inside were like, oh, Disney's doing a bug movie with ants.
Yeah.
So let's just make a movie called Ants and make the worst character designs ever, and make like a brutal battle scene.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, like I said, as a kid, I thought I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I mean, look, I was in a household where we had both Ants and Bugs Life, and I gotta tell you, Ants was watched once, and we never watched it again. Bugs Life, though, I watched that a couple times. I like Bugs Life.
Well, I think I got the whole asked. I was like, oh, Bugs Life would be fun. And it's like, well, here's Ants instead. And I was just like, oh, okay.
We have Bugs Life at home.
Yeah, basically.
About
So,
to say that.
I enjoyed it. I watched it a few times.
Well, anyway,
But
if you don't
Bugs
want
Life
to,
is better.
if you don't want to be spoiled, if you want to join the conversation for Kung Fu Panda, make sure you watch that by the next episode, which airs in 2 weeks. Okay, does anyone have any small recommendations this week? We've been doing this regularly because I think it's a fun thing that just like, oh, maybe we don't want to watch the whole movie or something, or maybe have something outside of movies to recommend.
If you are a fan of anime, so this is just for those anime fans, and you haven't been watching Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix, do so. You'll enjoy it. Probably. I don't know. If you like anime, like Yemmy, he wouldn't like this show.
Maybe not. I mean, I watched my Yu-Gi-Oh and my Dragon Ball Z. I'm not I'm not a prude. I'm not super into like the anime like whatever they do, like, oh my god, ooh, like I'm not into that. Like, but the manly stuff, like quote unquote manly stuff, like One Piece and Dragon Ball Z and stuff. I can handle this.
You might like this. It's basically a bunch of adventurers.
I was pointed towards so many animes that were just like the super high pitched girly voice, the lolly shit. Like, who the fuck likes that? Like, oh my god.
Lots of people.
Well, but it's creepy.
Yeah. Also, then you might enjoy the show. It's a bunch of dungeon crawlers who run out of money, and so they start cooking and eating monsters.
Oh.
So there's more to the story than that. But,
so it'll be better than the anime where they turn into like fruit or something like that I was recommended. I don't even remember what that was.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a fun show. So if you have Netflix and you like anime, like I said, Delicious in Dungeon. That's my small recommendation.
All right. Well, I'm going to flip the switch a little bit because my recommendation is the new documentary on HBO about Nickelodeon called Quiet on Set. And it is not fun, but it is very it's kind of insane.
Eye-opening.
Yeah. I mean, the episode we're about to be on is Drake Bell's story, which I know he's been a bit controversial, but the story behind his story is just
so sad.
The worst thing ever. So if you're looking for like a depressing time, just 3 episodes in is already like,
you know what?
Crazy.
It is depressing, but it's so important. So like, watch it. Just watch it. Like, I watched the whole thing. I binged it on Friday, and I just sat in my living room silent for like 15 minutes. Like, the shit that those people went through was not cool. It was fucking horrible. And yes, I will back your recommendation. Go watch it now.
And it sucks because like, I think most of us here were the demographic for that time period. All that.
Oh yeah.
Amanda Show.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Drake
watch.
and Josh, iCarly. Like, these are
Freaking-
shows that I grew up with.
I didn't
Me
have
too.
cable during that time, so I never watched any of those shows really. Occasionally at like a friend's house, but
like I saw that they were on Netflix, I don't know, a few years ago, and I was like, oh my god, like, so I watched a few of them, and now, like, knowing, it makes me so sick.
Yeah, it's like, how am I supposed to go back and watch through any of those old shows? Like, I was watching Drake and Joshua building a Lego set recently before all this happened, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot how, like, kind of ahead of its time this was. And then, you know, this all comes out, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Why? So yeah, that's like I said, it's a heavy one, it's a depressing one, but as Ray mentioned, it's definitely important to watch because it really sheds light on just the creepiness and fucked up business that Hollywood is.
Yeah. I mean, trigger warnings, it's all about abuse. Every single type of abuse.
Course.
So
yeah. Not surprising.
Yeah. Just watch it with caution.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to say it, but there's one story where the guy was like charged with, you know, being a pedophile, and he got a job at Disney like when he got out of jail.
Right after.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
and this is just the ones we know about, you know, like, God. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, okay.
I could rant all night about this.
Yeah, you know, we've
Protect
never
your
done a
children.
series for the show before. Maybe it'd be a good one to recommend. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm all for that.
We'd have to start a new podcast called Series Freakz.
Oh yeah.
Series.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's like what, 6 episodes long?
I think so. It's not very long.
Yeah,
space that out.
We'd
have to prepare for it. Yeah.
Yeah, only focus on like mini-series shows.
That's fair.
And documentaries, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could do documentaries here, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything they want to recommend that maybe is not as depressing?
Do something that makes you feel confident.
There we go.
Whatever that may be. That was going to be my original recommendation, so.
Make good choices.
There you go.
I think we should end the pod. Okay, let's say our goodbyes, but we should end off the show with Bill and Ted's words of advice. Okay, so I am the excellent ferret, and I've been here with
GreedyWaffles.
Taymation Esquire.
Radical ray of positivity.
And this has been Film Freakz with a Z. Come on, everyone.
Thanks.
No.
Be excellent.
Be excellent.
Excellent to each other.
And
party
on, dudes.
Party on, dudes.
Bye.
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 Bye.